The lunch rush was finally over, but Emma felt like she had just run a marathon. Her feet throbbed inside cheap worn-out sneakers, and her back ached from bending, twisting, carrying trays, and dodging impatient customers all morning. She pushed a strand of hair out of her sweaty face and exhaled deeply as she leaned against the counter of the small, old-fashioned diner she had worked at for the past 3 years. It wasn't glamorous. The paint peeled from the walls in spots, and the neon sign out front flickered whenever it rained. But it was honest work. And for Emma Reed, that was enough for now. She glanced over at her section to make sure it was clean and ready for the next wave. Booth 7 near the window caught her eye. A man had just left there clean-cut, probably in his 40s. Dressed in a crisp navy suit that didn't belong in a place where you could get coffee and eggs for under $5. He had been on the phone the entire time, barely touching his food, barely looking up. Emma grabbed a rag and headed over. As she wiped down the table, she noticed something under the seat cushion, just a glimpse of black leather. She reached in and pulled out a wallet, a very expensive-looking one, thick, heavy, smooth to the touch. Curious, but careful, she opened it just enough to find some identification. Her heart skipped a beat as she saw the name on the driver's license, Alexander Grant. Her eyes widened. That name wasn't just familiar, it was everywhere. Grant Tech, the tech company that powered nearly half the smart devices in the country. Alexander Grant was the founder and CEO, a billionaire who gave TED Talks, donated to hospitals, and was on the cover of Forbes last year. She blinked, staring at the wallet again. Tucked neatly inside were several platinum credit cards, a black card, and a thick stack of $100 bills, at least $5,000. Probably more. She hesitated, her fingers tightening around the leather. "Whoa," said Jasmine, her coworker, who had walked up beside her, holding a tray of dirty dishes. "Is that a wallet?" Yeah, Emma said softly. "Someone left it in booth 7. Jasmine peered over her shoulder and gasped. "Girl, that's a lot of cash." Emma nodded slowly. "Who does it belong to?" Jasmine asked. Alexander Grant. Jasmine's mouth dropped open. "You mean like the Alexander Grant, Grant Tech, billionaire Grant?" Emma nodded again. Jasmine leaned in closer. "Well, congratulations. That's your lucky day. Take a few bills. Buy your brother those textbooks you've been stressing about. No one will notice." Emma stiffened. "I'm not doing that." "Come on, Em," Jasmine said, rolling her eyes. "This guy wipes his shoes with $100 bills. It's not like he'll miss it. And let's be honest, he's probably got 5 assistants looking for it already. You've been working yourself into the ground. You deserve a break." Emma looked down at the wallet again, then closed it firmly and slid it into her bag. "I'm returning it." Seriously. Yes, it's not mine. And just because someone's rich doesn't mean it's okay to steal from them. Jasmine huffed. "Fine. Do what you want. But if it were me, I'd call it a tip for 3 years of underpaid labor." Emma gave her a small smile. "That's why it's not you." After her shift ended, Emma changed out of her apron but kept on her slightly stained uniform shirt. She didn't have time to go home and change. Grant Tech's headquarters were across the city, and she had to take 2 buses and walk 6 blocks to get there. The contrast between the diner and Grant Tech's glass tower was jarring. The lobby alone looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. Polished marble floors, modern art installations, and a quiet, sterile hum that made Emma feel even more out of place. The receptionist looked her up and down skeptically. "Do you have an appointment?" Emma cleared her throat nervously. "No, but I found this wallet. I believe it belongs to Mr. Alexander Grant. I wanted to return it in person." The woman raised a perfectly manicured brow. "Wait here." Emma waited in awkward silence while the receptionist made a call. A few moments later, a security guard arrived and gestured for Emma to follow him. Asterisk, her heart pounded as she was led into an elevator that required a keycard. They ascended quickly, floor after floor, until the doors opened into a quiet hallway with just one large glass door at the end. The guard opened it for her. Inside, the office was sleek, minimalist. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the entire city skyline. And standing at the window, hands in his pockets, was the man from booth 7. Asterisk Alexander Grant turned as she stepped in. In person, he looked even more imposing, tall, composed, with the kind of quiet confidence that came from building empires. His eyes met hers, calm and unreadable. Asterisk, you found my wallet, he said. Asterisk Emma nodded, stepping forward and taking it out of her bag. Yes, you left it in the diner where I work. I didn't want to trust it to anyone else. He took the wallet, opened it briefly to check the contents, then looked at her again. You didn't take anything? Asterisk Emma's eyes widened. No, of course not. Asterisk there was a long silence. He studied her face, as though trying to read something beneath the surface. Most people wouldn't have brought it back, he said finally. Emma swallowed. I guess I'm not most people. Asterisk why not? Asterisk she hesitated. Because doing the right thing doesn't depend on someone else's money. It depends on who you are. Asterisk Alexander Grant said nothing for a moment. Then he smiled, a small, quiet curve of the lips. Asterisk, and who are you, miss? Asterisk Emma. Emma Reed. Asterisk well, Miss Reed, he said, slipping the wallet into his pocket. Today, I thought I'd lost something important, but now I realize I may have found something much more valuable. Asterisk Emma blinked, not quite understanding. Asterisk but something about the way he said it made her heart race, like her life had just shifted ever so slightly on its axis. Asterisk Emma stood behind the diner counter, carefully pouring coffee into a chipped white mug, her mind still replaying the events of the night before. She hadn't told anyone the full story, not even Jasmine. All she said was that she returned the wallet, and yes, it really was Alexander Grant, and no, nothing happened. The truth was, she hadn't stopped thinking about the way he'd looked at her when he said she was more valuable than a lost wallet. Asterisk. But it was probably just something rich people said to be charming. That kind of thing didn't mean anything in the real world. Asterisk, she was in the middle of scribbling an order for table 4 when the bell above the door jingled. She looked up, expecting a regular. Instead, the diner went completely silent. Asterisk, a man in a tailored navy suit walked in. He looked out of place, immaculate hair, shiny shoes, expensive watch peeking from beneath his sleeve, and when he stepped fully into the light, Emma's breath caught in her throat. It was him, Alexander Grant, the billionaire CEO, was standing in her diner. Again, Jasmine nearly dropped the plate she was holding. Is that Toe? My God. Asterisk Emma wiped her hands on her apron and quickly stepped out from behind the counter. Mr. Grant, I didn't expect to see you again. Asterisk he smiled warmly. Good morning, Miss Reed. I hope I'm not interrupting. Asterisk she shook her head, stunned. No, not at all. Do you want a booth or the counter? Asterisk, I'll take the same booth as yesterday, if it's available. Asterisk Emma led him there in silence, trying not to stare, trying not to overthink why a man like him would walk into this greasy little diner 2 days in a row. Once he was seated, she handed him a menu, though she doubted he needed one. Asterisk, I came back for the pancakes, he said with a slight grin, but mostly, I came back to talk to you. Asterisk Emma's brows lifted in surprise. To me, asterisk he nodded. After you left last night, I looked into your background. Asterisk, she stiffened slightly, her heart lurching. You what? Asterisk, just enough to know that you're not just a waitress, he said. You were on the dean's list at community college. top of your class in business management. But you dropped out after your parents passed away to take care of your younger brother. Asterisk. Emma's face flushed. She felt both exposed and defensive. I didn't have a choice. He was 12. I couldn't leave him. Asterisk. I know, Alexander said gently. That's exactly what impressed me. Asterisk. She blinked. I'm sorry. Asterisk. He reached into the inner pocket of his blazer and pulled out a white envelope. This is for you. Asterisk. Emma hesitated. What is it? Asterisk. Open it. Asterisk. With trembling fingers, she peeled back the flap and slid out the papers inside. Her eyes skimmed over the words and then widened. Asterisk. It was a scholarship. A full ride to one of the top business schools in the country. Tuition, housing, books, everything. Asterisk. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Asterisk. And, he added, pulling out another sheet, this is a job offer. A paid internship at Grantech. We'll work around your class schedule. You'll get training, mentorship, and real hands-on experience. If you do well, there's a full-time position waiting for you at the end. Asterisk. Emma stared at the papers, her hands shaking. I don't understand. Why would you do this? Asterisk. Asterisk. They were decent, he teased. But honestly, I came here today because I believe in you, Emma. And I hope you'll believe in yourself, too. Asterisk. She nodded slowly, a smile blooming through the disbelief. Then yes, I'll do it. Asterisk. Good. He stood and offered his hand. Welcome to Grant. Asterisk. Emma stood too and shook it, feeling for the first time in years like something had shifted, like the future she had locked away, buried beneath shifts and bills and sacrifice, was finally within reach. Asterisk. As Alexander walked out of the diner, the bell chimed again. But this time, it sounded like the start of a whole new life. Asterisk.